Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Tuesday on the Den. It's me, JD. Let's get it going. Okay, so it is Viewer's Choice Week, and viewer Jonathen suggested that I tell a story of like my worst hangover or like the fun party or like some crazy story that I have. And I have one. Oh God, do I have one. So this took place my senior year of college in my undergraduate program. And I was living in Duluth, Minnesota with my roommate Blaine from college and my roommate Lacey. We decided to have a Halloween party. And this was in October of 2010. And we were like, let's just have a ton of fun and we'll get dressed up. First off, dressed up for Halloween. I think I dressed up as a zombie, maybe, which in actuality it was just like really uncomfortable amounts of black makeup, like smudged to look like dirt, and like a torn up t-shirt, and it was awful. And I had fake blood everywhere. It was awful. And I think another friend, my roommate Blaine, was like a Greek god or something, and Lacey was, I want to say something from like camel. It was basically whatever we could find in our apartment that we decided to use. And we had a lot to drink. Back when LOKO was a thing, and I'm talking LOKO before they had to change the formula because a bunch of college kids were dying in like Oregon or Washington or something like that. So it was like the old stuff, and like one can of it is like a 12 pack of beer in terms of like how intoxicated you're gonna get, and there's a ton of caffeine in it. So we were like shotgunning those. Not a good idea. Don't do that. Quick tangent, I had a friend that I worked with that he drank a bunch of those at my place once, and we woke up and it was like Picasso had thrown up all over my apartment. It was like red and blue vomit everywhere. It's not good. I don't even recommend drinking it now. It actually tastes like battery acid. Anyways, back to the story. And we had like a bottle of rum, and we had like regular beer, and we had tequila, and there was vodka, and there was this something Andia, Scandinavia, something expensive-y looking kind of, that it like exploded all over our kitchen, and our entire apartment smelled like alcohol. Anyways, throughout the night, I mean, we, like, all of us kind of have really super sketchy memories of that night, but the next morning, my roommate Lacey had a purple streak in her hair. Apparently, I bleached a strand of her hair and we put purple dye in it, neither of which we had in our apartment, so we don't even know where it came from. And my other roommate Blaine apparently had to work the next morning and he was gone. Well, I woke up and I was completely nude in my bedroom, and so was everyone in their bedroom. And there, I kind of like, I remember almost nothing of the night, and I walked out of my bedroom and my dog is looking at me super judgy. There is caution tape all over the apartment. I'm talking caution tape from like my bedroom door near my kitchen all the way through like our office area, living room, to the front door. If I remember correctly, I think somebody dressed up as Gaga from the Telephone music video, and but I believe that was all they were wearing, and there was caution tape everywhere, and that friend of ours was nowhere to be found. On top of that, like at like 10:30 in the morning, I was already like hungover / still dying from intoxication from the night before, and I couldn't even go into our kitchen because it was just a slew of bottles and spilt broken bottles of rum and vodka. It was a nightmare. And so I went into my roommate's room, and she was laying there and she's practically dying. I'm practically dying. We spent the next few hours holding each other's hair back. I didn't have this hair when I was in college. I had like this swoopy thing. Anyways, my hair really didn't need to be held back, but we did it anyways. And we just had a bucket between us in her bed, and we would swap buckets and stroking each other on the back while we were throwing up all day. And we found out from Blaine, our other roommate, that he was like at work dying as well, like straight up dying at work. He does not know if he's like going to legit make it through the day, and we're still trying to like piece together parts of like whatever happened to the person wearing the Telephone Lady Gaga caution tape outfit. We're trying to figure out how we dyed her hair purple. We're trying to figure out like what happened because no one has any idea. Well, apparently at some point in the night, our roommate Blaine, who went to work the next morning, like passed out, blacked out in the bathroom. And so we decided it was going to be a really good idea to pick him up and carry him to his room. I could not do that by myself. And we tried to lift him up by his pants, I think, and we just tore his pants off. Not from like trying to, but like lifting him up by like the belt loops, and his pants just ripped right off. And so apparently he was like yelling at us about needing to puke, but that his pants were broken, and we don't even know when he put pants on because he started the night wearing a Greek god outfit. And so the next day, when we were trying to like piece everything together, Lacey and I went to an Applebee's in Duluth to try to get like hangover food in our stomach, like try to come up with any level of ability basically to be alive and stop throwing up. And I was apparently supposed to work that next day, and Lacey called my work for me and told them that I was in the hospital. For the record, don't ever do that. Your work will know, especially when it's the day after a major holiday. And when we ordered the food, and I think it was like chicken, it was like boneless wings or something like that, and the waitress brought it over to the table, and we had gone through like 14 glasses of water and Sprite, and she like put the food down in front of us, and Lacey and I both looked down at the food, looked at each other. I bolted to the bathroom and I'm throwing up the whole way. So I'm going like this, trying to stop it. I was so embarrassed that I apologized immensely to the staff there about what happened. Like I was trying to like offer to clean it up because I felt so terrible that I was puking all the way to the bathroom. I came back out. Apparently me puking caused Lacey to puke, and she took off puking. And when we came back, the waitress just looks at me and goes, "Do you want this to go?" I didn't even think I had to say anything. She just took it away to like get it boxed up, and we got back to the apartment, threw the food in the kitchen because we didn't want to walk in there because it still smelled like alcohol. And we went back to her room and we kept throwing up throughout the day. Our roommate Blaine had come home from work, and he said that it was the worst day of his life, that his head felt like he was run over by a car 14 times. We're still puking. I puked once, which caused Blaine to puke, then Lacey puked. We finally found out that our friend had taken like a taxi or something and left, but doesn't remember wearing any clothes when he left because, like I said, he came dressed as Lady Gaga in Telephone, and all of his outfit was at our place, strewn about the entire apartment. Before we understood the whole concept of him leaving and the outfit, we thought we like created a crime scene and that like the police were there. We were freaking out. And granted, we were still very, very drunk the next morning, like very, very drunk the next morning. So it's not like it's unheard of that we didn't know what was going on. But after that, I don't think we ate until like 11 p.m. that next day, and when we were able to like get food down. And then all of a sudden when we were able to get food down, we just scarfed food down. And it was probably a solid 2 weeks before we could thoroughly go through the kitchen and clean it up because of how bad that kitchen smelled of alcohol, and it was making us super nauseous. Ever since that day, we like refer to it as like the Halloween incident of 2010, and we all know what we're talking about. And that was I think that, honest to God, was the last time I was ever so drunk that there were major events that I don't remember. And I do not recommend it to anybody, getting drunk enough that you black out. Binge drinking, it's really not worth it. I mean, I did it in college, and I think a lot of people can say the same thing. I'm glad I learned that lesson. I still got that bad boy, that middle one, during that experience. So I mean, I still successfully graduated, but I do not recommend binge drinking. Bad for your health, bad for your relationships, bad for a lot of things. It was an experience to behold, and weirdly enough, we never got that drunk again. It was way too scary. So that being said, thank you for the topic. That was a time to remember, and a time that I will never remember and probably will always forget. Watch all the other videos this week. Yesterday's video was Remo. Hope you have a great week. I will see you next week.